Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Hetty, and today I'm gonna let you know how I went from 400 pounds down to 285 just in 4 months. So stay tuned. Alright, so here we are. You want to know how I lost 115 pounds in 4 months? Well, I'm gonna break it down to you step by step. Hopefully you can take my plan and maybe implement it. Maybe you can take my strategy, see if it works for you, see if it's something that you want to do, you want to try. And I'm not going to guarantee the same results, but I do guarantee something that your mind is going to transform at the end of that journey. So, before I get into the diet, before I get into the exercise, before I get into the tips, I want to let you know that the most important thing above all those things is your mindset. If you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the focus, if you don't have your why, it's going to be very, very hard to stay motivated because let me tell you something. Motivation only lasts for about a second. Motivation only lasts for a while and it just disappears. You need something that's going to push you. You need something that's going to drive you when there's no motivation. And what helped me was my why. And my why is my son and my baby girl. My son is 2 years old and my baby girl is about 5 months old. And they changed my life. Being 400 pounds and having a baby boy coming up, knowing that if I truly want to see him be a teenager and have children, that I have to change my life. So I chose my why and I stick to it. Now, I would lie to you and tell you there's something that clicked in me. Didn't. I do want to let you know that when I was younger, I did lose 150 pounds coming out of high school. At that moment, I did have a click. People talk about, well, what is that click moment? What changed? What was the moment that you knew or you decided you're going to shed that weight? You see, when I was coming out of high school, I bent down to tie my shoe and I lost my breath. I couldn't believe it. And that was that click moment. I lost 150 pounds. I was ignorant. I was naive. I don't know how I did it. All I knew to do was stop eating junk, stop eating fast food. I stopped drinking sodas. I started to work out. I didn't even know I was fasting, but I was fasting at that time. And I maintained that life for about 5 years until I injured my ankle and so many other things happened. And I tell myself those are not excuses, or I'm not going to let those excuses justify my poor decisions. But a few years later, I gained back those 150 pounds and I gained back 70 more. It's crazy. I never thought I would be at 400 pounds, especially after losing 150 pounds. Now, I say this because this is my second time and it's not an achievement for me to lose 100 pounds again or more than 100 pounds again. If anything, I am embarrassed, but I want to let you know that I love myself. I need to care for myself if I want to see my children have a father in their lives, if I want to see my wife enjoy and have the husband that was meant for her, not somebody that is unhealthy. So that is my why. And there are many more tips that I want to get into maybe in other videos and how to shape the mentality and how to do this. But that was just a little snippet. Okay, so the most important thing besides the mindset is your diet. I did do a crazy diet. I am not going to lie to you. I did the carnivore diet. I did that for 6 weeks. And then I transitioned into a keto based diet / low carb. And this was so for 2 months actually, I did carnivore diet. It was the hardest thing I had ever done in my life. I cut out sugar completely. It was the hardest thing, but it was the most empowering thing. Because I tell you, you see, I didn't have that click moment this time around. I just had to envision a life for my kids with their father. And it was hard for me to get a click or the motivation. But When I started Carnivore, on the first week, I lost 7 pounds. That was enough to push me and say, hey, I'm going to stick to this until I get to a place where I'm comfortable. So I did the Carnivore diet. That is a animal-based diet. Basically, you eliminate all carbs, all fiber, all sugar, and you just stick to any animal-based products. That is any kind of meat, cheese, butter, cream, anything that comes from the animal you eat. You don't count your calories. Um, that's really it. And this is not a video about carnivore. I'm just taking you step by step on what I did. So I did that for 2 months. And after the 2 months, I transitioned into a keto based diet. Let me tell you the one thing that I was craving on the carnivore diet. Can you guess? It wasn't ice cream. It wasn't chocolate. It was a salad. I was craving a salad after eating all of that meat and all of that butter and all of that bacon, and it gets stressful sometimes. I was craving a salad. I know, it's crazy. So I needed to have my salad, and that was at month 2 where I decided to start to introduce a salad. Not crazy salad with other croutons and the sweet dressings. No, it was just a vinegar based dressing, very minimal. And then I also started to add some fruits. I added some strawberries, some blueberries, different kinds of berries. And I did have some keto ice cream here and there. And I did that for about a month, this keto lifestyle. And it was great. I was enjoying it. I knew that the carnivore diet wasn't going to be my end all be all. I am Hispanic. I need some tacos every once in a while. I do like some beans and rice, and I do, it's going to be a tool that's going to help me get to where I want to be. So I do believe carnivore diet is perfect for that. I think for me, it was perfect transitioning from carnivore into keto. Okay, so that was for 3 months. And then around the holidays, I took a big break. Started to eat whatever I want. I got to 291 pounds. I just stopped. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the holidays. I enjoyed food with my family. But I was still not going crazy. I was still working out. I was still just watching what I ate. And I gained 9 pounds and I got to 300 pounds again. Okay. So January 1st, a few weeks ago, I got back on the carnivore diet. 2 weeks in, I lost 15 pounds. And I've been at 285 for the last about, I think it's going on 4 weeks now. I started to do a lot more weight training and take creatine. So I felt that I was taking on more muscle and my weight was just kind of staying at the same number of 285. So this brings me into my next segment, which is exercise, which is, I think, is about 30% of importance in losing weight. Okay. The main thing is going to be diet, because what got you fat, what got you big, what got you that weight that you don't want is the food that you ate. It wasn't the lack of exercise necessarily, it was the food that you ate. Okay. So first, focus on the diet. You gotta at least change from eating junk food, from eating sugar all the time. Make those simple changes that you know that are healthy. At least start with that. But you need to change your diet. Okay. Okay. So segment 2, exercise. What did I do? I couldn't run because if I did, my shins were hurting so bad. I had bad cramps and soreness for about a week the first time I attempted it, and I couldn't even run that far. So I walked. I sped walk as much as I could. I did a lot of boxing. I have a punching bag in my garage, and I did that. I did whatever movements I could do at 400 pounds. And honestly, boxing saved my life in that case. And eventually I started to drop some weight, and I bought a bike that I could use that could hold, it said it could hold 320 pounds. At that point, I was 360. I said, screw it. If I break the seat, I break the seat. I'm going to get at this. So Didn't break the seat. I shed some more pounds. I got to 320 pounds. Just doing boxing. I did do some minimal weights here and there. But the main thing for me has been cardio. At this point in time, I am at 285 and I'm doing a little bit more weight lifting. Some people will tell you, or actually all health gurus would tell you, that weights, it is the best thing for weight loss and for health. And I agree. I have a goal that I want to reach by a certain time. And I know that it's going to take a lot more cardio than weights, but I'm still doing weightlifting to maintain my muscle or not put on very little, if that's even happening. Okay. So I worked out now I work out maybe 6 or 7 days out of the week, depending if I need a break. I wake up in the morning and I go to the gym or I work out in my garage. I'm just on it. I love to work out. It helps me. It helps my mind. It just helps me focus. It just helps me feel like I'm doing something for my weight besides dieting. Because dieting is just so tedious and so boring and it just sucks. You know what I mean? So you got to do something fun. And for me, that's the exercise part of this. So you don't have to exercise 6, 7 days out of the week. At least try to do 2 or 3 days out of the week, and at least for 30 minutes, some form of cardio or some form of weights, whatever you feel comfortable with. At least for me, I know what works best for me, and that is doing cardio, and that's what I'm sticking to. So I'm doing about 70% cardio and 30% weights at the moment. And that is going to change, where it's technically going to be about 70% weights and 30% cardio. But I am not ready to make that change because I want to keep dropping these pounds. And that is my goal. All right. So I want to give you some tips and tricks. Okay. So you got to get your mindset, you got to get your diet, and you got to get your exercise right. But I say a boost or a bonus that has helped me lose this weight fast is fasting. I have been intermittent fasting for a very long time. And the moment that I combined it with this diet and exercise, it has just revolutionized just the way that I feel, my relationship with food, my discipline. So I fast about 16 to 18 hours a day. I eat at 12 and then I eat again roughly about 5 or 6. I actually just switched it up. I'm only eating one meal a day right now just because I've been stuck at 285 and I just want to break through that wall. So I eat one meal a day. I do eat a pretty heavy meal of a bunch of eggs, ground beef, butter, cheese, and just stuff myself with that until I just feel full. That keeps me over for a whole day. I might have some coffee in the morning, but right now I am fasting. So basically I'm fasting about 20, 23, 24 hours a day. But I do this in very special cases where I feel like I am stagnant. But most of the time, I say 98% of the time, I am intermittent fasting at least 16 to 18 hours a day. All right. So that is how I lost 115 pounds in 4 months. Try it out. You don't have to do carnivore. Try keto. You don't have to do keto. Do low carb. Whatever works for you. This is what worked for me. This is how I got these results. And I am not going to stay at 285. My goal is to be, at least this was one of my goals, to be at 285. My next goal is to be at 225 and then potentially 200, and then I'll gauge from there where I want to be. So follow and subscribe wherever you're watching this from. If you're watching from YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching from other platforms, follow. Anyways, subscribe, because I'm going to get to that 225 and I'm going to share the tips and the tricks how I got there. Thank you guys for watching this video. Give it a like and share. You guys have a blessed day.